Hey folks, welcome to Fat Off the Bone, where we simplify the process of cooking. And if you enjoy cooking out, most people, they're going to grill for the family and friends or a cookout or something like that. But every grill in the world uses fuel, and we've got those fuels right here on the table. And the one thing they all have in common is they're wood, Rodney.
They're wood, made out of wood.
Now the first one over here is lump charcoal, which I don't use a lot of. Rodney uses it all the time. Tell us about lump.
Well, lump charcoal's been around for a while, but it's gained a lot of popularity, Shane, over the last several years, and you can find it just about anywhere. Lump charcoal is produced by taking pieces of wood and putting it into basically a kiln in a low oxygen atmosphere, and they cook out a lot of the impurities that are in the wood. Um, so they're so you end up with a very dry, not as opposed to a green wood, and it burns very hot. It burns very quickly. It doesn't have any kind of binders or fillers in the process. One of the things that I like about lump charcoal is how quickly it responds to temperature changes on your grill when you're moving your vents to increase or decrease the heat in the grill. Responds very, very quickly to that, and that's one of the reasons I like it. It's price wise, it's about the same as a bag of pellets or a bag of briquettes. One of the things when you get a bag, depending on the brand, is how big the pieces are. You'll get small pieces. It may be hard to see. Small pieces to bigger, and sometimes they're huge pieces. Sometimes I've gotten pieces that were too big. A lot of it depends on the manufacturer, but also how it was handled. I remember back in college, I worked for a company, very large shipping company, and the difference in unloading trucks at night was if it said fragile, you just threw it underhand.
Now you can start this in a chimney starter just like briquettes.
Exactly, and that is, as we're going to discuss later, probably the preferred method of lighting both of these.
And another thing is you were telling me off camera that, because like I said, I've never used lump. I'm not as familiar with it as he is, but if you extinguish it, if you're using lump and you get finished with the cook and you shut it down, you can actually relight what's left in the grill.
You can, and the ash that you're going to have, you rake it around, it'll fall through the grate, and then you'll still have pieces, this large and this large, and you just add more to it and keep using it. So in that way, it's very economical to use.
Yeah, that's true. Next up is a Kingsburg Charcoal briquette, which is probably the industry standard. It's probably what most backyard grillers use. It's easy to get. It's been around forever. What I like about it is they're all the same size pretty much, so if you want a good level layer of fire, you're not going to have high and low spots when you cook. Now, if you cook on a ceramic grill, like an egg, the grate is so far from the coals that it doesn't really matter. But on a PK or a Weber or something like that, depending on what you want to cook, this just makes it, this just makes a good uniform layer of heat. And they make all kinds. They make blends of charcoal. This is just original Kingsburg. It's what I prefer to use. They put it on sale. You can get it for the same amount of money as the cheap stuff, and it's basically compressed wood or compressed sawdust.
It is, and it has some binders and fillers. I don't know exactly which ones in each brand. I don't want to say anything negative about a brand. I do know that recently they've come out with some blends, as you say, and they'll say all natural.
Yeah.
So when somebody says something's all natural, that means that the other maybe was not all natural. So there are some blends. One of the things that I've noticed over the years are the ridges that you see. These happen to be in a K for Kingsford. I remember when they were just smooth, and you still may find some that are smooth, but that allows for airflow, more surface area, the charcoal to light, and it helps.
A lot of people might not know it, but that actually was invented, Kingsburg Charcoal, had something to do with the Ford Motor Company. It was leftover wood from making, I think, Model Ts, and Henry Ford found a use for it, and it's still around today.
That's exactly right. I think his brother-in-law was involved in the manufacturing, and I understood it was scrap wood from the.
Now they do make this also in like a max light version, which already has the lighter fluid on it. I use a chimney starter. There's nothing wrong with max light. Just be sure if you use it, let it burn off long enough. Which you need to let any charcoal burn off long enough, but you don't want that lighter fluid flavor.
Right, and you'll hear all kinds of discussions about lighter fluid and parts taste on the food and all you take. Folks, if you're using lighter fluid or somebody's using lighter fluid to light it, and you taste lighter fluid, that's not the lighter fluid's fault.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the cook's fault.
That's exactly right.
They're just not burning it off, and we'll get into that a little bit more on some of our episodes of how to light charcoal. But don't, other than being flammable, which I don't, that's danger. But the taste of lighter fluid is just not an issue if you do it correctly.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, we'll come back. We'll talk about pellets. We'll talk about real 100% wood chunks. So y'all stick around. All right, folks, next up, we've got wood pellets. Now listen, a lot of people just frown upon anybody who uses a pellet grill. I use mine all the time. I love it. The whole purpose of this show is to make it simple for people and easy, and there is no simpler nor easier way to cook and get wood flavor than with these wood pellets. This happens to be a Pit Boss competition blend. It's inexpensive. It tastes great. I like it. They make all kinds of different blends. They probably make 100 different kinds of this stuff, and it can range anywhere from $15 a bag to $50 a bag. It's all over the map.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the pellets, it's the same as briquettes. It's the same as this. They're all processed wood. This obviously has some type of, almost like a wax coating.
Yeah.
It's all food grade. You will find these that are not food grade because there are some home heating systems that use pellets.
Yeah, don't cook with them.
Don't cook with them.
Yeah, don't cook with
And it plainly says on the bag, and I've run across those in some of the larger farm stores. Now, we're here in North Carolina, or our part of North Carolina and South Carolina line. I don't know a lot of people that have those type of home heating systems, but there's enough that they're selling them in the stores that I'm seeing. Shane, my oldest and dearest friend in the world, just gives me down in the sticks about using pellet grill. Now, he's never spit out any food that I cooked on it, and I think now he's not buying one just to spite me.
Yeah.
But you're cooking with wood. You're cooking just as much with wood as you are with this.
And another thing too, if you happen to cook with a gas grill, or even if you use briquettes or lump, these can impart a lot of flavor. They make a tube or a tray that you put these in, and you lay it right in there, and it'll give the smoke flavor to the food. Even if you're using a propane grill, you can get smoke flavor using these, and they're just real easy. You can buy a little bag and just throw a handful in there, and you're good to go.
Do you find that your food has any more moisture or dries out more or less with using pellets?
Now listen, these things here, they have enough moisture content. People don't believe it, but they have enough moisture content in them that you will never ever have to put a pan of water with anything you cook in a pellet grill. If you use propane, propane's the driest heat in the world. You have to use some sort of moisture if you're doing a long cook. But there's enough moisture in these that you do not have to do that.
So you're saying propane's like Arizona, it's a dry heat?
It's a dry heat, that's right. And then next up, wood chunks. This is what started it all. These are apple chunks. We have plenty of wood here to use. It's just too wet for us to use, so I ordered this on Amazon. This and all these are exactly the same. This is just in its natural form.
That's exactly right. And one thing to understand when you get any of these woods, and I've never seen lump, and I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I've never seen lump that was advertised as a certain type of wood.
Yeah.
But you'll find briquettes and of course the cherry wood. You said cherry apple. Apple wood, sorry. And you'll find these in different blends. You're not going to put a cherry flavor into the food or an apple flavor into the food. It's the intensity of the smoke.
Yeah. And another thing we'll do is later on down the road, we'll end up cooking a pork butt or a tenderloin or something using either lump or briquette. And you can use this to accompany that and give it a wonderful smoke flavor.
Exactly. Well, my friend, I think it's time to get some food going.
One other thing, just to let people know, we have a rocket stove and a rocket grill that Kerry Henson built, and it burns wood. I mean, it'll burn sticks, but for flavor, this is perfect, and we'll be using it later on and show you how it works. So this will be put to use all on its own later on.
That'd be great. All right, you ready to get some food going?
I'm ready.
Right. And you know the old saying, Shane, if you're looking,
you ain't cooking.
That's right. See you guys later. Thanks for watching.